We have SMTs put in at the highs again. We took out this recent high on the 1 minute when ES did not. So now if we get a close below the opening of this green candle right here, that'll be our change in the state. Looking good. Nice. I would like to see this gap stay open for now. And then look for price to retrace back into it. And then we would take our entry there. We want to see some bearish reactions out of this. Like that. We'll move our stop to up here. What is this? And the first TP will be this low. And then second TP we'll just keep as a runner potentially. We'll just see how long we can take it with the stop trailing. First TP is hit. Now we are just going to trail this runner. Moved our stop to break even. Did take out this low, so we do want to watch for some type of pullback. Preferably I'd like to see it just drop, obviously. Alright, and that got us out. Right back into that fair value gap that we had our initial entry on. I wouldn't be surprised to see price continue to go lower now, but that got us out of our position. And we're going to go ahead and call it there. We are up 170 on the day on a new account. Last week I had kind of a shit week. I blew up my account essentially, so I just decided to restart. TopStep actually gave me a free reset due to some billing issues they did a few months back. So I had a free reset. I decided to do it. I took the last few days to kind of just look within and see if I can, get down to the root of the issue. Why do I keep doing the same mistakes? And I kind of came to this realization. I need to change something. I need to make physical changes. And I've, really been thinking about it and have been trying to figure out what it is that needs to change. And I came up with 3 things that need to change. Actually, the first one is upping my size to 3 instead of 2. And that is based purely on math, just because looking back at it, I had a 50% win rate, but only a 1.5 risk to reward. And in the long term, that's just not profitable. And I figured out it's because whenever I do hit my first take profit, 50% of my position, one of the two contracts gets executed, and then the second one goes down to break even most of the time. So that's 50% of my position back to break even. So that doesn't make any sense. So I decided to up it to 3, so that way I could get 2 contracts out at my first TP and only leaving a third of the position to break even. But yeah, so that's number 1. Number 2 is I'm no longer going to talk about trading outside of trading unless I'm asked about it. For whatever reason, maybe it's for validation or just, I really don't know. But I would talk about trading. I would talk about my achievements outside of it to people that don't really understand what's going on. And that would put this unnecessary pressure on me to perform, I would tell them, if I had a green streak, I would tell them about it. And then, in their mind, they're like, cool, great, whatever. And they're not even thinking about it the next day. Whereas I come back to the charts the next day and I'm like, well, I told so-and-so about my green streak. So now I have to perform or else I seem like a liar or I'm letting them down or I just don't seem like I know what I'm doing. So I have this unnecessary pressure to be green when nobody's really thinking that, But to me, I just build this. I kind of get like really in my head about it, and so I tend to start making irrational decisions, and it causes me to do silly things like taking trades that aren't following any type of strategy, and it's just unnecessary pressure that I put on myself by telling people about it. I'm expressing, my achievements, things that I have done well, thinking that I don't know what I'm thinking when I'm doing that. But I figured out that I do feel this pressure whenever I'm trading. And if I can eliminate that, I will, right? So I'm just not going to talk about it. I'm not going to say shit unless somebody asks about it. Then by all means I'll talk about it. But I'm no longer going to talk about any type of achievements or anything like that outside of trading until I get a fucking payout. Right? So that's number 2. I'm not going to talk about it outside of it. So number 1, upping my size to 3. Number 2, not talking about trading outside of it. And number 3, I am going to... So I have had issues with having green streaks. And then whenever I start to see red, a little bit of drawdown, I kind of start to freak out, thinking that, maybe I'm losing it, because I was feeling really good. I was confident that I was seeing green. Things were starting to look, good. Like, this future that I've imagined for so long has been very possible, and it seems very real at that point. And so when I start to see red or drawdown, I get really in my head and start to think maybe I didn't know what I was doing and all this is luck. And then I start to kind of freak out and blow up. So from now on, whenever I do see green, consistently, I'm just going to expect red. I'm going to just expect drawdown. That way it's not a surprise whenever it happens. I know I understand that, and I've understood it for a while, but I haven't really made the conscious decision to be prepared for it whenever it happens. And so when it does happen, I freak out and I think something is wrong and that I'm losing it and that everything is going to go the opposite direction. And then it inevitably does, I blow up, I lose my cool, and shit goes south. I lose the account and I have to restart. So I've figured out, if I am consistently green, cool, but it's not forever. Like, losses are part of the game. Red days and weeks are part of the game. But if you stick to your strategy and it's a profitable strategy, then in the long run, you're going to be profitable. I'm going to be profitable. So moving forward, whenever I do have these green streaks, awesome, I can be happy about it, but I'm not going to talk about it outside of trading, and I have to expect red in the future. So I'm not surprised by it. I need to know it's coming, I need to be prepared for it, and I need to be okay with it. So those are the 3 things that I'm actually going to do differently here moving forward, and I'm going to be very conscious of all 3 of these moving forward. And hopefully I will see better results. And, that's just kind of what you do in this game. You see what works and what doesn't. It's kind of plug and play. And, so I'm going to try these things out and see how that goes. I'm going to do a lot more back testing just to kind of build up that confidence. So basically that's it. I just kind of wanted to express that. And also, this YouTube channel isn't necessarily for anybody else but myself. I don't care if people are watching it. I hope people find value out of these videos or get value out of these videos. But at the end of the day, this is for me to go back and watch, to see how I was acting, see where my head was when I was doing certain things right and when I was doing certain things wrong. And it's for me, to also feel accountable because I am putting this out on the internet. So there's that sense of accountability that comes with posting, your progress on the internet. So that's pretty much it for today. We are up. The strategy worked. Unfortunately, we did get stopped out at break even, but like I said, that's just kind of part of it. I think I may in the future mess around with instead of moving the stop to break even, maybe putting it at the most recent high or something like that. I don't know. I got to go back and test that and see what works in the long run. But that'll do it for today.